This is White Magic Girl, and I'm here with Gege from Glamgorgeoushair. Yeah, and today we are going to talk about curly hair. So why is it that we're going to talk about what's your kind of background, so we can tap people here now?
I've been working with hair. I'm a hairdresser. I've been working with hair for about 10 years professionally, and curly hair is one of the things that I've been working with, and I see that a lot of people have some issues dealing with curly hair. Some, it could be children. Some parents of Afro-Caribbean or European background have children with curly hair and they don't know how to deal with it. And sometimes they have parents even from the same, like I said, the same ethnic backgrounds, but it's still hard because there's not enough knowledge about what you want to do with hair or how you started. And something that's very important to me as well is you have children getting to about, or teenagers, like going up to about 18, 19, 20, and they still have no idea what to do with their hair. They've curled it, they've relaxed it, they've firmed it. So we want to start slow at the very bottom and then sort of inform everybody of how to take care of their hair.
So the absolute bottom, as you put it, is to first of all have the right tools, right?
Yes.
So we need certain tools, we need certain products as a start. So what are they? What do we need to get? And then you get your paper, your notebook, and your pen, and you write your shopping list right now.
We need some certain tools, but I would like to say that the first thing you have to have is patience.
Right.
Yes.
That's a difficult one.
Yes, because the attitude, especially with children, even if for grown ups as well, it's the same thing with your own hair. If you want to manage your curly hair, you really need to be patient.
So, just to make it slow for you, so number one, patience. Okay?
Okay. So now we now go to the tools. So there's just a couple of tools. I've got one or two here as well, so I can show you, the difference between some things that you need. But one of the very important things is a comb, is a white tooth comb.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a detangling brush.
Right.
I think those are the two main things. As you use both of them, you find out which works better for you or for your child. So the first thing would be detangling comb, detangling brush, afro comb, afro pick. I'll show you different ones in a bit so that you understand. The next thing you would need would be a good conditioner and a good shampoo.
Right.
Something that is nourishing. Depends on the curl pattern. You have to find out whether you want something that's a bit
So you need to kind of look at the hair and then
you just, that's why I say patience. It's not gonna be like, this is what you do, number one, number two,
number two, and then
after that, you need a leave-in conditioner spray. Okay. Most of the time, I prefer a detangler. The conditioner spray would have like some vitamins, some nutrients, maybe a bit of keratin, a bit of oil, but it needs to be watery.
What kind of oil? Because first of all, I'm sure you heard about this as well. A lot of people are promoting olive oil. I don't quite like olive oil. Because it smells like the one we're cooking. Like if we're cooking the child.
Okay. Hold on, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. You see, like with
I
oil,
don't like the smell of it.
No, you don't have to. If you don't like the oil, that's fine. There's so many different oils out there, and you need to try and experiment. That's the patience.
What about the coconut? I've heard.
Yes.
Coconut oil. Yeah.
Something that's important about oils is this. Every hair is different. Some oils will work well with some hair, and some oils might not work well with hair. From my experience, the curls with the bigger curls prefer lighter oils. So lighter oils are like olive oil, jasmine oil, and the very light ones at room temperature. Mid oil, I would say, is like coconut oil. Okay. You understand? Then the heavy oils, you think coconut oil, olive oil, it's in between as well. Then shea butter, jojoba oil, and then what's it called? Black castor oil. Those are thicker oils, and those do better for the thicker and more dry hair. So these are the difference between the oils.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So
one last thing.
Right. One last thing.
What you sleep on. The pillowcase or the hairnet is very important, because when we're talking about detangling and making sure your curls are nice and luxurious, when you sleep, if you use something like cotton for your child or for your hair, for anybody, it doesn't have to be curly hair, anybody that's sleeping, the cotton or any brand material actually extract moisture from the hair. So it's better if you have something like satin or something that
So something
silky that the hair can just glide through.
Right.
So that is very important.
So that actually brings us to the next question. So why is it that we need to use this pillow, and also like why does hair tangle like at the first place? So before we get to that, though, if you just tuned in, hi, this is White Magic Girl, and I've got Gege here from Glamgorgeoushair, and she's been dealing with curly hair for at least 10 years, and today she's educating us how to actually, take care of the curly hair, how to, on a daily basis, what we need to do to get those beautiful curls. Right, so the first thing you need to do, if you just tuned in today, you need to get your phone and you press the share button under this video. Make sure that you share it on your timeline right now, live, so we can actually, get more people to get this message. And of course, you can ask us questions. And I'm just going to look at it now if we have any questions. Okay, somebody says you all look great, by the way. Thank you so much. Yes, my hair tie today is made by Dabira Beauty Pro, and she helped me with my makeup. I want it to be quite natural today. So if you need makeup in Manchester, then you need to go to Dabira Beauty Pro. Today we are talking about hair, right?
Yeah.
And Pidgin English, so we need to learn Pidgin English. At the end of the show, I need to learn Pidgin English.
Okay.
Completely. Right.
Yeah, so what did you like? I asked you before, what do you want to know in Pidgin English?
Just like, I know that they say like holiday and all that.
So what does that mean?
It's like holiday.
Oh, okay. You're a pro now, aren't you?
I am. If you don't know something, just come to me.
Exactly.
I know what I'm talking about.
So what else?
So just say hi, how you day, and then say it, and then you go where.
There's no hi, how you doing?
Oh, no,
How you doing?
You don't say hi, okay? Just say how you day.
Yeah, very nice, no casual. And I've got a detangling brush.
Okay, it's like white tooth as well, right?
Yeah, I can't tell. There's some that are smaller and there's some that are wider, but this is actually a detangling brush.
Okay.
You understand? There are different types, but it's somewhere to actually start with. Yeah, so that's a detangling brush. That is an afro comb, like a white tooth comb, and that is another one.
And that's wider.
Yeah, this is wider.
So depending on what kind of curls we're dealing with.
So you have that. There's still something else that could still be in between there, and then you have the smaller one. So depending on the size of the curls that you have, you understand, the smaller the curls, the wider the comb.
So for example, curls like this.
Yeah.
What would
I would try. We have to try though because we're not sure. But I will try with this and the one in between this one. I will try with that and see how it goes. Please stop me if I go too far because I can get carried away because I'm so passionate about this.
It's a very wide subject, isn't it? So just take it away.
Okay. For you to know why curly hair tangles,
then you need to first look at the curly hair. So we've got our little model here. Harmony.
I want my brother.
Say hi.
Say hi, Harmony.
Say hi.
Hi.
So this is the hair we're talking about today. Why does it tangle?
Okay, I would want to start at the very bottom, but with the basics that you need to know.
Yeah.
For you to know why curly hair tangles, you have to understand how curly hair works and what the difference between curly hair and when I say straight hair or wavy hair is.
Yeah.
So with some hair, like let's say with straight hair, you have it like quite straight, the strands quite straight from the bottom to the top, and then you have these things coming out of the actual hair, the strand of hair, like the cuticles of the hair down on top. It's straight up and it like lasts like how the tiles on the roof are.
Yeah.
So that's with straight hair. So when it's like that, it's actually closed and on the body of the hair as it goes up.
Yeah.
With curly hair, the strands are curled like that.
So the top of it's like
that's
coming
for
out
straight
like
hair.
that, and then it's even
it's like with curly hair, it comes out like a petal.
Yeah.
So it's like you have a strand like that, and it's coming out like petals all around and all around. So what happens with that is the hair is now open, so the moisture escapes very easily, and that's the fundamental difference between curly hair and straight hair, and that is why you have dryness with curly hair than in other hair. So with curly
That's
hair,
why you have dry hair.
yes, what causes the tangles and everything is when curly hair is not moisturized, it becomes dry.
And then if we even use the wrong pillowcase, it will take the moisture away.
Exactly. So with curly hair, the main thing is we're trying to hold back all that moisture from running away.
So you need a lot more moisture than
exactly straight hair. Yeah, like with your hair, you're trying to sort of remove moisture, but with curly hair, we're trying to bring moisture in.
Bring moisture in. Look at the comments. If you just tuned in. I have a strong brown hair. Please, I know it's not curly or something, but can you tell me what to do to be able to come through?
To come through. I have to know something though. How often do you wash? Is it color treated as well? That's another question. But if it is damaged or color treated in any way, you would need to, I would say, I don't know how tangled it is, but I would say use a conditioner because I wouldn't advise you to detangle while hair is 100% wet. It's 100% dry, I'm so sorry. Because when it's so dry, and she says her hair is dry, isn't it?
Right, so it's strong brown hair, doesn't it?
Okay, doesn't say whether it's dry. Yeah. But if it's strong, then it might actually snap if she tries to just comb it dry. So I would say try like using like either a detangling mousse, you know, like detangling mousse, or like it has a consistency of mayonnaise, those kind of or you can use a detangling spray to actually get through that, to add moisture to start with. Shampoo and then use a conditioner. And one thing I want to say is not all the time would you use a comb. Sometimes you don't comb before, you don't comb dry because it just depends on the hair. That's why I said you have to be really patient. I'm sorry I cannot give you the everything
because we need to actually see and then see the pattern. So how do you prevent the hair from tangling?
Okay, preventing the hair from tangling. Let me just outline a few steps. I would say you have to think about combing and detangling and prepping your hair for washing. You have to think about how often your hair needs to be washed. It's different for everybody and different for children and depends on the curl. So I would say start from once a week, and then you can decide whether you want to increase it or reduce it depending on how your hair fares with that. So so I've said detangling or sort of combing out, washing. Then after washing, the conditioner that you use and the shampoo that you use needs to be moisturizing for curly hair. The harder or the more dry the curly hair, you know, the richer the shampoo. You can even use shampoo or conditioner for damaged hair if the hair is really, really dry. So after you do your shampoo, sometimes you can detangle at that time, if you don't comb before, depending on the hair. So it's very important, like when you're washing, the direction which you wash your hair, because if you have like hair that tangles easily or not easily, and you put it all the way forward, when you put it back and agitate it too much, you have loads of tangle. So it's nicer, I've noticed in my experience, like put the head back and just sort of finger tease with the conditioner slowly, and that is, you have to be patient as well. So when you finish with that and rinsed out, then you now think of how you want to dry it. So there are two things that are still important. One is trimming. The drying process, I don't want to go into that now. We could go into all the other processes later. But after drying, you can decide to use heat or you can decide to use air. But if you use heat, you need to use a heat protector and you need to do it at a low temperature. So now you're going on to you know how you might maintain it. So you have your detangling spray, and you have the moisturizer, the one that's like
So do you actually use detangling spray every day, like?
Yeah, you can use it every day because it has like nutrients for the hair as well.
You wake up with the detangling.
It depends on what you need. You can need it every day. You can need it every 3 days. You understand, because you don't also want the hair or your child's curly hair to be too heavy with product. So you have to sort of find a balance. Exactly. That's the thing. So talking about moisture, the next thing after drying now would be what is the condition of the hair. You understand? And then at this point you can put in some oils You understand? Some moisturizing and curl defining products. I know that it might sound a lot to some people, but we will be going through that in the future and explaining these things.
Yeah, since we were going to, so this video is actually the first part of the series. So we're gonna have 2 parts. Next week is next Friday at 6 p.m. So if you did enjoy this video, then you will have to tell everybody about it, and of course tune in next Friday at 6 p.m. UK time. Right, so we talked about the tools that we need to get today for the curly hair. We talked about why does the curly hair detangle and how to prevent the tangles, yeah?
Yeah, we're still not finished though.
Yeah,
I know
just
it's a lot.
carry on.
Okay, so there are 2 things I've not mentioned, and that is the need for the ends of your hair to be healthy.
Yeah.
So if I just, Harmony, can I touch your hair? Oh, thank you. So if I use Harmony's hair as an example, she's got lovely hair, and we've been trying to educate Mommy here on taking care of Harmony's hair, and we are getting somewhere. So anyway, so like if you see the ends of her hair, she's got lovely hair and it's growing nicely. But what we don't want it to have split ends. So the split ends are very important in that we don't want them there. We don't want to see them, because what they do, they just let all our moisture escape, and then our hair is really dry. So I know some people might be scared of trims. You have to be really careful when you want to trim your hair. Discuss with your hairdresser or whoever is doing your hair, so that they carry you along when they're having that trim or the trim for your child. But it is important, because that's if you don't do that, it's hard for the hair to be healthy. Some people do it without, but I would say that's one very important thing. And the last one, after trimming, is the sleeping.
Right.
So when you go to sleep, or your child wants to go to sleep, there's so much I want to talk about, but I'll just talk about that sleeping part. I won't talk about sectioning now. I'll leave it for another time. But okay, before the child goes to sleep, you have to sort of make sure you section the hair, because you don't want to do all that work all day, and then at night she wakes up in the morning and the hair is all matted. So I have to mention that the hair has to be sectioned. Then after sectioning the hair to how you're comfortable.
So you said, we did discuss this before, so you said braiding the hair at night.
Like braiding or putting it in, like 2 or 3 ponytails if you can, but just sort of flatten it down so that
just
the
to
hair
kind of prevent
it from rubbing.
And of course you mentioned the hairnet if possible.
Yes. So a hairnet if possible, and then a satin pillowcase as well. So if sometimes I can't sleep with the hairnet myself, I think,
and I don't know how I would get my child to sleep.
Exactly.
It's not really fortunate. It's tight a little bit.
It's not even tight. It's not even tight.
It's just
that if
some people just find their used to it.
So I would advise a satin pillowcase, some material that's really slippery, so that doesn't absorb moisture.
Right. Okay.
So I would say that as a pillowcase.
Right. So if you just really quickly just want to tell us the keywords for this one, like how to prevent
how to maintain your curly hair.
Yeah.
So combing and detangling will be number 1. 2, washing and conditioning, and making sure you use the right kind of moisturizing, detangling conditioner and shampoo.
Yeah.
You can't forget that, because that is where you start really. And then after conditioning and shampooing, you have to think about drying. What method you're going to use to dry. Some people actually plait the hair as well when washing and when drying, so that they're not moving it about too much. So this is why I say you have to just play about with it.
Can you really wash it like that?
Yes, you can. And people,
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a personal thing. You understand? If you set your heart to anything, you can do it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then
So the drying process, how you decide to dry it. If you have a lot to do, you can just plait it together.
Yeah.
Let it air dry, and when you take it out, you have lovely waves.
It's always air dry is best, isn't it?
Air dry is
possibly,
the best.
Yeah.
Is the best. But while
if
you're
you've got
air
the
dry,
time, yeah.
But you don't.
I've got the time for her, but I know that some people just want to go out and just want to get it done.
Get it done. It depends on, and for children, it's like the styles you do. Little plaits and little pigtails, they look lovely already. So rather than going through that process of trying to blow it and telling her to sit down or him to sit down, you just let it air dry. But in the winter, you want to be careful.
Of course, yeah.
And then after that, you're thinking about trims, very important. And then how the
So
sides
how often
fits.
do you need to train?
I wouldn't say, ideally, would I say, when I was,
I knew we were gonna get to this because Gigi is a hairdresser and hairdressers want to cut and just
No,
to trim, just
that
here
is
and
why I'm
there, and then
stuttering.
you're never gonna grow your hair.
That's why I'm stuttering a bit, because if I say every 8 weeks, I'm going to be like, no, I'm not getting rid of my hair in 8 weeks. But from 8 weeks upwards, you can do 8 weeks, you can do 3 months. It's just as comfortable as you are. But I would say maybe the first trim might be the most, will I say, hardest to do. But you work with your hairdresser, trim something that is realistic, and you can do another trim in a little while.
Right. But what if you've already had things? What if you've got the tangles already and you need to, get rid of the tangles?
How do I start? No tangles.
Strong. No tangles.
Okay. And if you've got tangles, which it could happen to anybody, you don't need to panic. But what I would like to say is, don't let it get too far. Like as soon as you notice that it's starting to tangle, at least you've heard this now. You can take these steps to to know what to do. So I would say, if we're dealing with the child, let's say we're dealing with Harmony and her hair is tangled. Has your hair ever tangled, Harmony?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Never happened.
Oh.
Don't know
Never.
why you even think
Okay.
about that.
Anyway, with Harmony's hair now, let's say it's tangled. Luckily, it's not tangled.
Yeah.
Lovely hair. So I would say, I'm just going to demonstrate with Harmony. Harmony, is that okay? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, baby. So if you got tangled, sometimes I don't know how much you mean, but I have seen really tangled hair before. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid, though. So you get the hair together. Let's say you section it and hold a section of the hair. You want to make sure that the rest of the hair is sort of away, so that you're not like pulling on little strands when you're working with the
So just
actual
kind of use a
section.
clip.
Yeah, you can use a clip or a bubble and put the hair away. So the most important thing, as I said, I wouldn't like to be tangled dry, because curly hair can snap when it's dry. So you don't have to actually wet it if you don't want to. Sometimes you do. But to start off with, Harmony is here, we're not in the bathroom, so we're gonna not wet it too much. So I'll take a detangling spray.
Okay.
You can, depends on how tangled it is. I would either use a detangling spray, or in some cases even a conditioner if it's really
Like a leave-in.
No, this one will
conditioner,
not be a leave-in conditioner if it's really
Right. So
really bad.
is it after like you washed your hair?
No.
Just
If you're
any
getting rid
type
of
hair
really,
conditioner.
So we have the detangling leave-in conditioner, which is the one you put after, which is liquid, and you have the moussey one, but I wouldn't use that at this time. So I could use a normal detangling conditioner. But the important thing is the sections. The next thing would be to hold the hair at the base, because especially for children, this is why children run away when they see people with the comb coming. They
Yeah,
start
I can
running.
confirm that.
So the main thing is you want to protect the scalp of your baby. You don't want her screaming if you can.
Yeah,
know.
you can.
So you have to be the sort of defense between your child and the comb. So I would hold it like that. Let me start from another place though. This is not tangled, but if it is very tangled, I would start teasing it apart really slowly. Teasing it apart, not pulling at the bottom like that. And when
So you're starting from the top?
Yes.
Starting from here?
You have to start at the top, because starting at the bottom, you're just going to sort of lock the hair together, and then you're just going to have pain for your child, and it's not going to be a happy situation for both of
working
you.
your way.
Yeah, just slowly teasing, depending on how. I will do it like that. This is not tangled, but that is how you'll be doing it. Nice and slow. Like for example, you got a little one there, so I will just tease that apart slowly, and that is how you do it. And then when you've done that, then you hold the hair together. Get a comb or get your comb. How many we need to work on your hair by next week, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. It's quite nice actually.
So we just comb it out slowly. Let me see. I've got one.
Mommy did a good job here.
So we're starting at the top.
By inviting Gigi from Glamgorgeoushair.
Don't worry, I'm moving. Don't worry.
Okay.
So that's what we do. You see how we're going just slowly? Teasing. If I go too far down, it's not gonna run. Harmony is watching her film happily. She's not even bothered. So we're doing something right.
So number one tip: get a tablet and put on pepper paper
before
you start detangling. Right.
So that is what we're doing, and we're slowly. This is the comb I think would be good for Harmony. The best I have for Harmony is at this time.
Right.
The other would be too big. It would go because it's not too tangled, but
it wouldn't just
it might be snapping along the way. So just do that all the way to the bottom. I'm not going to disturb how many because she's watching her movie, but that is what we would like to do. And that is the main when you do that all through sections. When you finish one section, when you finish one section, you now do another section, keep it away. When you do another section, you do another one, keep it away, and you do the whole hair.
Right.
And have it sorted.
This is helpful. My little 3 years old, I struggle as her hair not very thick, okay, not growing.
Okay.
How do I get it to thicken up and grow healthier?
There are a couple of things you could do, but not knowing the background where you're coming from and a lot of things that are happening at home. What is her diet like? What kind of personality does she have? What are you doing daily to to support her hair? Hopefully, what we've told you today should help, and then we should consider trimming. I think that should be considered, but I really can't say exactly what it is because I need to know more why it's, we would like to know why it's thinning out. And if like your hairdresser or I would say make sure, like with some children, they're very picky about what they eat, and I don't know if they'll be getting like 100% of all the daily nutrients that they need.
Right.
So I would say that would be the first place I would start with. And after that, if that has not worked, then the next thing now would be to see, okay, what is the situation with the hair? Is it happening due to dryness? Is she losing hair due to dryness? So we now work on moisturizing and detangling and maintenance. If that is not working, then you have to go to your healthcare provider just to make sure everything is fine. Hair breakage. Let me deal with hair breakage first.
Okay. And then we go to the
like when we say how do we prevent it though, it's a very wide question, and this has sort of been answered with what we're talking about, what we've been talking about today. If you know that you're following most of these steps, as I said, there's no hard and fast rule, but if you follow these steps and sort of tweak them to work with your hair, even dry, like I was even saying about your hair, you've got European hair, but your hair is quite frizzy.
I'm just hiding it today, so I was like, because we talk about hair, let me just cover it up.
Yeah. So like anybody with any dry hair or anything like that, because it's quite frizzy or curly hair, whatever, the steps that we have said would be important to go with.
Yeah.
So it's when you've used these steps and you're not still getting the results that you want after tweaking them up using like a heavier oil or a lighter oil. You understand? And I think investing in quality products is another important thing. You understand? It's not only about being, it's not about price, but is the product actually doing what you want it to do? So that's the main thing that you have to look at.
Okay.
And then the other question.
Right. Before we get to the next question, if I just quickly can say that, please follow White Niger Girl on Instagram. So you just go to Instagram and you type in White Niger Girl. Please make sure you follow, because I'm always going to advertise my new Facebook Live videos there, and next week we're still going to be there with Gege. You can follow Gege on Instagram as well, and her page is called Glamgorgeoushair. So make sure you follow her, and so you can get more tips there. Right. So the next was how do you prevent dry scalp?
Okay, dry scalp, which is going to be, we need to deal with this topic again, as a different topic, because that is another thing entirely. But knowing how often to wash your hair is very important about, maintaining the health of your scalp. So, as I said, let's say you start once a week. I don't know, the person that has a dry scalp, I don't know, is it like, how often do you wash your hair? It might be, obviously being a man, it could be like more often, isn't it? Like every day. So you might have to start with reducing the number of times you wash, or if you don't wash as much, you might actually have to increase when you wash. Then you have to think about things like your diet is important as well, because we don't know why the scalp is dry. So another thing you think about your diet, your water intake,
Right.
and this is important for hair as well. And then another thing we think about now would be what's going on with the scalp. Is there any kind of infection? Is there anything that's hereditary? You understand? So if you've gone through washing your hair, and I think something that has tea tree oil, witch hazel oil, these are things that are antiseptic, and they help to sort of cleanse the scalp and make the scalp feel really nice and breathable. They might tingle a bit, but not much. I wouldn't advise for children because I don't know how they would feel. It might just be a bit too hot. But that would be where I would say for him to start with and then take it from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, people are giving us thumbs up, which is always a good sign.
Oh, you've learned a lot today,
I've
haven't
learned
you?
a lot today. I'm just so
that's
knowledgeable. I just don't know where to put all this knowledge.
Oh, you're fire, aren't you?
I am, and I've learned fitting. There's a holiday and all that. And that's it.
Is that how bad a teacher I am? That's all you've learned today?
You see?
Oh my
If
god.
the learning is not good, then you just look at the teacher.
Oh,
That's not my fault.
oh my gosh.
That's you.
Okay, I'm not doing
I
that.
need to be mindful. I'm blushing again.
No, I'm happy that you learned a lot. Anyway,
I learned a lot. One full sentence. Okay. So after that we talked about so when some parents out there who don't know how to deal with it. Not me.
Okay, yeah, not
The
you.
parents who don't know and then they have tangles already.
Yeah.
So we taught them how to detangle them because Harmony is just so beautiful. She
You've
never had
never
a tangle in her
tangled, ever.
life. I don't even know what it looks like. Right. It's not entirely the truth, but anyway,
I'll tell you the
we
truth
get
another
there.
time.
We get there, and then I have a few products already, so we're getting there.
Okay.
So we detangled Harmony's hair, and Harmony is such a lovely model, and she's just watching her movie, and it's all fine.
And let me tell you how the detangling thing sort of works. Let me not go too far into it because sometimes I use oil, just basic oil, when it's really tangled because you need something to sort of make the hair slippery. You know, so when you use an oil, it's sort of as you put
Does
it
it
in
not
the
make
pan.
it heavy though?
No, because this is before you're actually washing it.
Right. So put the oil
Yeah.
before you wash it.
Yes, when you're detangling. And we will go into this. There's pre-shampooing before you actually wash. So people do not shampoo at all. They just do washing with conditioner, which is called co-washing. There's so many different terms that you go through, but I think I'm here to actually walk you through these things as
Let me
much
see
as
if
I
anybody
know.
has a question. Are texturizers good for your hair? What are the dangers?
Okay. Now, if you look at texturizers, I can't say it's bad for anybody's hair because it's a matter of personal preference. You understand? I'm relaxed. I'm a hairdresser. I know what to do, but I don't have the time to maintain natural hair. I really, really wish I could. But I maintain other people's natural hair, and I think that's enough for me. But when it comes to relaxers or texturizers, some people need it to actually soften their hair. But if you can do without it, because who wouldn't want to be as natural as possible, you know? Like what you have in texturizers, it breaks down how they actually work. They break down the structure of that curl and they soften it. So that curl that we talked about to start with, that is quite round, what it's doing is it wants to soften that one. So it breaks it and sort of makes it a bit more wavy, depending on how long you leave it. If you leave it long enough, you can even turn it straight. So it's still as damaging, but
So it's a
you
very
have to,
strong
yes,
chemical.
yeah. And for children, personally, my opinion is leave such chemicals from as far away from the scalp as you can because they're still developing. You understand? If you have to, I'm not judging anyone who's doing that. You have to. I do understand that. But if you can, it would be better to just leave it and just try and manage the hair. If you try and use what we're talking to you about today and it's not working, then you can think of other solutions. That we can go. We can use to soften the hair. So that is what I would say about texturizers.
Please make sure you share this video because it's very useful for others as well. And if you know anyone who's struggling to take care of that curly hair, then they need to watch this video. Right. Shall we just really, really quickly recap what we just said today, and then I think we are ready to go unless you have another question. What can Donald Trump do to make his hair great again?
Oh yeah.
Let's make Donald Trump hair great again. So what can Donald Trump do to make his hair great again?
Okay, this is a hard one.
Okay,
President of the
professional
United States of America. Oh dear.
So this is an important Facebook Live show.
Well, I think from my humble opinion, Donald Trump would need to use a bit more conditioner to just get his hair a bit softer.
And his brain as well.
Just to soften it a bit, to be more...
His body, go inside his body and soften it.
No, I think by the time we saw his hair out, and his hair is quite nice and relaxed,
Like,
I think he'll be better. I think you should start with a conditioner, and then after that we see what happens. If the hair is nice and soft, and then we will
see if it even stays on.
Yeah, if it will relax a bit. I think that's it.
Make him relax. It needs a lot of conditioner, okay? So if Donald Trump, if you actually watch this Facebook Live out there, make sure you buy the quality products and use enough to relax yourself and soften yourself up.
And possibly a head massage.
Head massage,
Yes.
Melanie can help you with that. Right, so really quick, a very quick summary.
Okay, I'll try to just sort of put everything up in a nutshell. The first thing that we said was moisturize. You have to remember that the difference between curly hair and straight hair or wavy hair or dry frizzy hair and other kinds of hair is moisturizing. So we want to make sure that we keep as much moisture in there. We want to also make sure that we're doing things either daily, either as much as we can, just knowing what kind of hair we have, to make sure the hair doesn't actually get to that stage where it tangles, because that is where you don't want to be. For children or for adults, we don't want to be running up and down thinking, and my hair is gonna hurt and I have to cut it off or stuff like that. No, you've got beautiful curls. If you take some time to actually invest in them, manage it properly, and you will feel confident, to be able to wear this hair once you're happy to maintain it properly. So after detangling, washing with the proper shampoo, if and when it's necessary, weekly or more or less, depending on what you want, and then conditioning, deep conditioning. Those are other products. You leave the conditioner in for a longer time. You finger detangle or comb wet if you want. Then you move on to drying. You decide on the way you want to dry your hair. When you know what way you want to dry it, either allowing it to dry naturally or with a little bit of heat, or even with rollers, then you go on to remembering to trim, and then like finishing off with possibly an oil. Let's say you've trimmed and your hair is nice, finishing off with like an oil or a moisturizing mousse or moisturizing cream. It might be oil, it might be some, depending. Sometimes you could mix products together. Sometimes you put it just at the end if you don't want it too thick. Like with Harmony's hair, I will put a lot more at her ends than at the bottom, because you don't want her hair to be just flat, except you want that really nice slick look. Then you can put some like oil at the base.
Yeah.
So once you have the oil and you actually it's trimmed, when you think about sleeping, when you go to sleep, what do you do with your hair?
So silky pillow, talk about that.
Silky pillow. There are other things that we have to do before we sleep, but as I said, we wouldn't go into that because we'll be discussing so much now. But we'll go into that later. And then all round, at the end of the day, when we finish, I'm gonna teach you how to greet properly in Cuban English. So please remind me.
We cannot go without that.
Yes, we can, because you said to me you wanted to learn this, so I'm gonna put that up in a bit, But back to the hair, those are the main things you want to do.
Yeah.
And with detangling, remember, moisture is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And before and after and during, and keeping that moisture in, those are the most important things. So to round up, I'm trying to do some things where I can really help people to understand their hair better. Because even if I do hair and I'm a hairdresser, it just helps me when people walk in comfortable, confident with their hair. There's so many other things I can do with hair. It doesn't have to start from the bottom. So if you're working with a good, you start from a good base, then that means whatever you're going to create at the end is going to be really lovely. So that is why I would like to hear from you, and you can reach me on Glamgorgeoushair, Instagram,
and Facebook.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have a blog that you can actually go and read and see, and comment as well. So thank you so much.
So make sure even on this video, under this video, you can comment, you can ask questions, because this video has another part next week. We have a part 2. So if you have any questions and we didn't answer them yet, we will get them, get them out next week. So here we go. Let's just get on with this pidgin English.
Okay, so what are we saying now? We're saying goodbye.
An easy one, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to say in a language,
because you're on a camera, you know, my image and all that.
No, but you know, it's gonna sound really funny. So what do you want to say? Do you want to say bye bye? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna say bye bye. So get ready. What we're gonna say in pidgin English?
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Oh my gosh. Da-da-da.
Yeah. Bye bye.
That's it for you day. For you day.
Oh.
How you day? That's it for you day. How you day? Bye bye. No. So next week, I promise you, I'm gonna get a little bit better in pidgin English and in hair care. And as I said, we're gonna have a part 2 next week. Make sure you follow me on Instagram right now to go like this page, share this video, and go to Instagram again and follow Glamgorgeoushair. If you have any questions, you can comment below this video, or you can even go and directly ask Glamgorgeoushair on Instagram as well. And on Facebook as well, of course, like Facebook as well. Glamgorgeoushair, White Niger Girl, everywhere and anywhere, and we are always there. That's my new slogan.
Oh, we're everywhere and everywhere.
Everywhere and anywhere, it's always there.
So look,
we need a DJ for this week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Hey.
No.